Donald Trump, how are you, sir?
Hello, Mark. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'll tell you what, you are the only candidate that calls early. Like a buzzman, really. You call early every time.
Or at least on time. That's true.
On time.
I believe in that. It bothers me to be late. I sort of judge people by that. A lot of times people are late, and it tells you later. No, I'm on time. I'm always on time.
And Hillary and Obama are always late. Have you noticed that?
Oh, I've heard that. I've actually heard that. I don't know too much about it, personally, but I have. That seems to be the rumor.
All right, look, Russia's in Georgia. They're in Crimea. They're in the Ukraine. They're in Antarctica claiming rights to oil and gasoline. They're in the Middle East. China claims the South China Sea. The islands off Japan. The islands off the Philippines. Vietnam's territorial waters. This Iran deal. Billions of dollars for weapons and certain nuclear arsenal. What the hell is going on here?
Well, we have a leader that's not respected at all, maybe not even a little bit, and it's a problem. There's no question about it. We have a president that is not respected. We have a country, frankly, that because of leadership is not respected. You talk about Antarctica, and you talk about these other places. Even these are places that nobody would even think about, and all of a sudden, you know, people are laying claim to land that's, a lot of people have thought was ours. And there's a lot of wealth under that land, too. You know that. So it's incredible, Mark, when you see what's going on. It's absolutely incredible. And even the fact that, this last week they meet, and it's Putin, and you can see the disdain that he's got for Obama. You just look, and it's mutual, it looks like. I mean, certainly mutual. And then they go in, and somebody walks into an office and says, by the way, I'm going to be bombing, or we're going to be bombing. And they didn't even know about it. They met 2 days before. So it's a total lack of respect of our leadership, and that's a bad thing.
And he's slashing our military at the same time. You wouldn't do that, would you?
Well, the answer is absolutely not. And and we probably need it more now, if you think about it, than ever before, especially with the power of weapons. And, we have this great technology, but people are stealing it. China's stealing it. Russia is stealing it. They're all stealing it. They don't worry about copyrights. They don't worry about patents, and they just take whatever they can, and it's sort of incredible. But you look at what's going on from a military standpoint. I'm in the real estate business, as you may have heard, or at least I used to be until about 2.5 months ago. I used to be in this I used to say it was an insane business. It's very sane compared to politics, I will tell you. But every week, all the time, I get listings of bases, military bases, naval bases, army bases, all bases, and they come across your desk a lot where they're closing down military bases. And it got to a point, there was a point at which I was seeing so many of these things that I said, well, wait a minute, what are we doing? How many bases can we close? And you get it. You see it, but they're for sale. They always send them to me. I always get them. And it's a lot of bases, and you just wonder how many do we have where we can do that so often. So we're not the same country. We don't have the same spirit. And I was telling somebody today, we don't win anymore. We don't win with ISIS. We don't win with trade. You look at all the different countries we do business with. We don't win with any of them. We don't win with anything.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. The VA, you've talked about this a lot.
Right.
Matter of fact, pretty much everywhere you go, the treatment of our vets, the VA is a disaster. It's a top-down old system. It's a single-payer system. I heard what you said, that everyone should get health care, but you also said you want more reliance on competition in the private sector, and somebody said you favor single-payer. I said, I didn't hear you say that.
No, I didn't say it. Only the enemy says that. Only people that are haters or whatever say that. What I did say, and this may veer a little bit from what the folks some of the folks, I think most of the folks would agree with me in the Republican Party, but we have to take care of poor people too. We have to take care of people that really are not doing well and have no money. And what do? You're sick, and you can't see a doctor, and there's no way of doing it. And for that, I think we can really make a deal with our hospitals to take care of some people. But what I want to do, to take care of people where they can walk into a hospital. And, our hospitals are not doing well. You know that. Hospitals are going bust all the time. They are not doing well. This is for people that can't afford to have some kind of a plan. What I want to do is free it up. And, if we get rid of the lines, we have these artificial lines that are wrapped around every state. And the reason is because the folks doing the plans, they would rather have New York as a monopoly, or New Jersey or California or Iowa, any of these places. They'd rather have a monopoly than compete throughout the whole country. You understand that, where they have to compete. So they'd rather have it. So we have these artificial lines wrapped around every state, and I'm a massive employer. I have thousands of employees, and if I'm bidding like in New York or if I'm bidding in New Jersey, there's no competition. So I get these very high rates and high plans, and it used to be that way in particular. Now, with Obamacare, that's even messed up because, frankly, now it's much worse. I don't know if you know, premiums are going up 35, 40,
yeah, I know.
55%.
Yes.
And the deductibles are through the roof. Unless you're dying, I mean, literally going to be dead, you don't get to use it anyway because the deductibles are so high. But if you could open that up, and it's so easy to do it. The problem is the insurance companies have taken care of Obama and the special interest in the lobbyists so that it's not going to happen. They're making a fortune off Obamacare, something that a lot of people don't talk about, but they're making a fortune off Obama.
Why not more vouchers so we have more plans, more insurance companies, more options? I believe that with the VA, too.
Right, or the savings plan. With the VA, we're going to come out. I've gotten to meet so many people with the veterans, and the veterans really like me. If you remember, we had disputes with certain people, and they did polls, and the veterans like me much more than their so-called, what used to be called their leaders. I don't think they have any leaders anymore when you look at it. But the veterans, I've gotten to know so many of them and so many groups, and I'm with them so much, and they have been treated. And I was responsible for the building with the small group for the building of the Vietnam Memorial in downtown Manhattan. So I've always felt that way with the veterans, but they're being treated like third-class citizens. And I really say, when they have, I don't know if you heard this, but first of all, thousands are dying waiting while they're waiting. And in the offices, it's as of about 4 weeks ago on Wednesday, they are waiting. It's the longest wait they've had in the history of the Veterans Administration. People are waiting 3, 4, 5 days to see a doctor, if you can believe this. And what I would do, and I'm going to come out with a plan, we're going to come out with a policy plan very soon, and what you do is, if they can't take care of them, they're going to go to private doctors, they're going to go to private hospitals or public hospitals or whatever's in the community, and they're going to get immediate care, and the government's going to pay for it. And by the way, that's going to be a lot cheaper than what they're doing right now, and it's going to be a lot better.
Because the government pays for this massive overhead.
Right. Massive. I mean, it's massive. And frankly, some of the doctors are good, but some of the people, the administrators, are horrendous. It's horrendous, the stories you hear coming out of there. The whole administration of the Veterans Administration is horrendous. And we can take care of that. They're spending a lot of money. It's not a question of the money so much, because the government, our government, spending a tremendous amount of money, but it's tremendous theft. It's a lot of crooked stuff going on, and it's tremendous waste and mismanagement. So what we do is they're going to have to wait 4 days to get a pill that can solve a problem for them quickly or whatever it may be. In a lot of cases, Mark, it's little stuff like that. It's not big operations, but they're sick, and they could be easily, it could be easily remedied if they had some treatment or some service. And what we're going to do is they'll go to a private doctor, a private hospital, or a public hospital. Whatever's available in the area, we'll pay the bill, we'll work out deals, we'll pay the bill, and they'll get great service and immediate service.
You're not even talking about new money, are you? Because there's an enormous amount of money, as you say, that's wasted. You just want to transfer things and change the system, I take it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's not the money, the tens of billions of dollars that are spent. And, every time there was a problem, if you remember a year ago, there was a problem where it was very public about all of the corruption and everything else, and they passed this fast bill where they poured more money into the system. It's really not the money. Money, you probably have a lot of money left over if you do what I'm saying, because what we're doing is, to a certain extent, privatizing, where you're able to go out and immediately see a doctor, and possibly a really good doctor, and maybe a better doctor, and you have immediate service, and, the infrastructure they have at the VA is beyond belief. So this is not a thing where it's the money, because probably they're paying more money than they need. It's really, you need good management, and you have very, very bad management at the Veterans Administration. So, and every time I explain it to a group, they all love it, because I'm not sure, when I go into a group, I don't know, maybe there's a reason why this wouldn't work. I haven't had one person, and I've explained it to literally thousands, that didn't love this idea.
Here's the thing. I went over your tax plan.
Right.
and I said it was Reagan-esque. I worked for Reagan.
Right.
It is Reagan-esque. I listened to you talking about privatizing, more competition. You're saying it'll probably in the end save us money. You're talking about poor people. You got Medicaid, which has been around 50 years. It hasn't fundamentally changed. It takes 25 cents out of every dollar of every state budget.
Right.
It sounds to me you're saying we got to look at this too. I don't know why you're coming under attack like this. I mean, you're throwing ideas out there. I don't agree with all of them, but I don't agree with all of anything. You're putting ideas out there. These are fundamentally competition, private sector ideas. And meanwhile, by the way, the media has a love-hate relationship with you. They can't wait for you to go on TV and increase their ratings.
Right.
And then when you leave, they stab you in the back. Yeah, I've noticed this too.
I know. It's an amazing thing. And
how's your family doing through all this?
My family's doing great. But your friend Rush Limbaugh said the first 2-3 weeks that Trump has received more incoming, and I've never heard that word before. You know,
military.
But he's received more incoming, and he's talking about the press. More incoming than any human being he's ever seen. And it turned out I was right. It was on illegal immigration. You know what I said? And now everybody's talking about the whole thing with illegal immigration, which is, by the way, a disaster. And, we're going to build a wall.
People have to admit, you turn that whole thing around. Look, I've been behind this microphone a long time. I've been pounding away. You said things people wouldn't say. And it's absolutely true, and it's actually getting worse and worse and worse under this president. But your family, they must be fascinated by this.
Well, it's a wild life. I thought I had a pretty wild life before. I had one of the top shows on television. I have a great business and all this stuff. And I've written #1 bestsellers, The Art of the Deal in particular. And it's like, but there's nothing like this. Is crazy. You make, one statement and they write, 9,000 different versions of the story. And it's
politics is brutal. It's
brutal. Yeah, and I meet some really great, honorable people like you, by the way, and others, and in terms of the media. And I also meet some people that are really dishonest. I mean, they're really, really bad people, and knowingly so. Just knowingly write whatever they want to write. They literally quote you, and you didn't even speak to. They'll quote you, and they it's like a quote that you never even made. So you meet some really, really dishonest media people, and you meet some really great ones too. I have to give it to both sides, but I've had some experiences that are the experiences have been absolutely amazing.
Well,
but it's been a lot of fun in a lot of ways. My theme is Make America Great Again, and that's what the whole thing is based around. Make America Great Again. And we can do it. We can do it with cutting. We can do it with so many other things. We have to make great trade deals. We're being ripped off by everybody. I mean, everybody's ripping us, Mark. There's nobody. We have no deals that are any good.
Well, you know who's ripping us off the most?
Tell me.
Our government.
Well,
these regulations.
That's true.
They are killing they're killing these little businesses that are trying to spring up. They don't even have an opportunity to compete.
Well, 90% of those regulations can go by the wayside. They're putting them on a daily basis, and they're killing all businesses, even the big businesses they're killing. You have corporate inversions where companies are moving out of the United States. They used to move from New York to Florida or something. Now they're moving from the United States to different countries, like Ireland and like other places, where the taxes are lower and they can get the money. There's $2.5 trillion at least outside of the country. We can't get it in because...
I love your plan. 10% one hit and it all comes back.
It all comes back. And
I'm serious about that. Is a lot of money.
Yeah.
People need to realize that creates jobs. There's investment opportunity just sitting overseas. Why? Because the liberals want to tax the hell out of it.
Well, it could be much more than $2.5 trillion too. They don't know what it is. They have no idea. They think it might be around $2.5 trillion, but I think it's much more than that from what I'm hearing. And it's a massive amount. The problem is to get it back in now, you'd have to pay such a big tax. And even the paperwork, because I have money outside, even the paperwork to do it, it's not worth it. It's like crazy. So companies are leaving the United States to get their money. Can you believe it? They're also leaving for lower taxes, and, you put the whole ball together. But they're leaving the country in order to get lower taxes, get the money that they have parked outside the United States that they would love to bring in. Somebody said, why don't you let it come in for nothing? I said I would, but they'll pay 10%. So as a businessman, I say, let them pay something, right? I would actually let it come in for nothing with no tax. Like you have a period where they bring it in a year or 6 months. But they'll pay us 10%, so why would you do it for nothing? It's 10% that goes toward deficits and all of the other problems we have. So it's something that has to happen. It's just
DonaldJTrump.com. That's the website, DonaldJTrump.com. It's been a pleasure.
Well, it's an honor, and I appreciate everything, Mark. You're a fantastic guy, and thank you very much.
All right, good luck to you and your family.
Thank you. See you soon.
All right, DonaldJTrump.com. That's the website. I will be right back.
Mark Levin, the Thunder on the right. Call in now, 877-381-3811.